Okay, so just a quick couple things here. I love the way they distinguish then between or among body, brain, and mind. Middle of 46. Consider this: if you had the body of an elephant, but the same physical brain that you have, this is a rather odd thought experiment. Would this brain, presumably not, and this brain would have been in the body of an elephant, we'll say all along, uh, rather than sort of implanted in there? That'd be really, well, let's not go there. If you had the body of an elephant but the same physical brain that you would have a very different mind, because your mind would have been built from your bodily experiences of interacting with the world. Very nice. If you had an elephant's body, you would have built your mind through very different ways of interacting with the world. For example, using a trunk rather than hands, other things. So, to the degree that one person's bodily experiences have been different from another's, their minds would be different. That seems self-evident, but I think it's really important. And look at the footnote. This is also an interesting way to think about differences in cultures. Persons in different cultures experience and interact in different ways with different environments, both physical and social. So true, which means that very different kinds of minds develop out of those very rich and densely complex interactions. A lot of really interesting things here. I'm just going to look here to see what other. Oh, well, here's another one. Here's one question I have for him. On 52, our authors, whom I love and respect a great deal, write, first full paragraph. First of all, if you simply compare even a supercomputer to the human brain, there is a remarkable difference in complexity. The human brain, and then in parentheses, not to mention the human body, is the most complex thing in the universe. How the heck can this claim be made? Lodal asked in the... you can't say that. What do we know about the whole universe? I think it's often said that the human brain is the most complex, I don't like the word thing, but thing on planet Earth, as far as we know. Gee whiz. But to just expand it to the universe? Hello? We don't know what's out there. And if there are other intelligent beings, creatures, they would be creatures, and our faith would constrain us to say they have been created by the God that we have come to know through Jesus Christ. That's the creator of all things. And if there are such creatures, and I think I've told you, I strongly suspect that there are. I wouldn't at all be surprised if some of them have evolved more complex organs, or even brains, if that's the word we want to use, thinking organs than ours. I mean, it's at least possible. So why in the world would we say the most complex thing in the universe? It's not a huge point, but like if the discussion is lacking tomorrow, I might have to throw it out there. A lot of this, gee whiz, is just about the rich notion that we are bodies situated always in material and social, and then we can add other things, political, ethnic, religious contexts, and that's just the start to name them. And who we are and what we are is a deeply shaped. I won't say absolutely determined, but deeply shaped by these rich contexts that make you possible, the unique you that you are. Then in the next chapter, Minds Beyond Bodies, they really go into this really interesting idea of how human beings, we know that other creatures can employ tools, but the extent to which we employ tools, they talk about writing notes to ourselves or keeping a calendar, and or other things we do on our iPhones, or what's this thing called that I'm using right here, iPad, that thing. Or my wife, when she paints and she puts a brush in her hand, and part of what they say is that the more practice you have with any one of these instruments, the greater facility that you have, even to the point where perhaps you don't even really think about it anymore. And they do mention, like, how we talk about people playing the piano, or learning how to ride a bike. Once you learn, you never unlearn. It's sort of like, and that really is an extension, of our bodies, and we learn how to ride that thing. Our brains are involved there, obviously, and that kind of, so we're extending our capacities, in that case physically, to ride a bike, get someplace faster. But we do that, also they talk about, we write and read books. I'm doing this little lecture here, and what I'm hoping to do, as we said earlier, I think in the very first one, I know I'm doing all the talking, but hopefully we're actually having something of a discussion. That is, as you strive to interpret the words that I'm uttering, and you think about, you could probably even think of yourself sitting in class. I wouldn't be surprised if I know you're not right now, but, like I could see a person kind of thinking about, as I did, as I talked this, every now and then I'd have this image of you all in the classroom. So we're extending that capacity for classroom discussion. And again, even as I'm doing all the talking, hopefully your cogitations are happening. Your brain is spinning a little bit. And we're engaging with one another's brains in such a way that we can call it mind. And we're extending that cognition out beyond my skull. I don't like that bag of skin image at all, or skin bag or whatever, that they got one from some philosopher. That just sounds too Gnostic. It sounds like Socrates writing off the body. Oh, you're just a bag of bones, or what, a skin. I'm a little surprised that they went ahead and used that language. I might raise that in class, actually, because that really bothers me. So this soft coupling they talk about, which can be with another person, it could be with a tool, it could be with a hammer, and I thought about that, like, a hammer is definitely not an extension of my body. No, this thumb over here knows it all too well. But for other people, like carpenters, like they said, it's second nature. Why? Because they practiced it enough, and that tool now has become like an extension of themselves. So we have these various ways in which we, page 70, extension as distinctively human, really nice stuff. And I think really our reading, I'm just taking us through the end of chapter 4. Maybe we'll end with the last paragraph. I've got most of it underlined anyway, so I'm on page 72. Thus, human thinking is supersized. I'm also not all that, that sounds too much like McDonald's. I know. It's cute. Human thinking is supersized by the capacity to incorporate into cognitive processes various extra body tools outside the body. Yeah. Tools outside the body. I'm actually doing these recordings on 2 different iPads so that I can download it faster. I have slow internet out here in my office, but again, even like internet, and how much we depend on having we like fast internet, because we want these extensions of our cognitive abilities to be, like that. So human thought, now they're quoting somebody named Clark, last name of Clark. Human thought and reason, it says emerges. It really should, it looks like it should say emerge. Human thought and reason emerge. I mean, I know thought and reason are more or less, why use both? If you're going to use both, then you should probably have a verb that reflects a plural noun. Anyway, emerges from a nest in which biological brains and bodies acting in concert with non-biological props and tools build, benefit from, and then rebuild an endless succession of designer environments. I don't really know what designer environment. I guess environments designed by us to help us extend our cognition. In each such setting, our brains and bodies couple, using couple as a verb, couple to new tools, yielding new extended thinking systems. And then their last paragraph. That was a long quotation from somebody. Now Strawn and Brown come in to end this chapter. However, it is not only non-biological props and tools that supersize our intelligence. The most powerful form of soft coupling, that the language, I guess, I don't know, coupling, you get it, that enhances our mental capacities is our interactions with other people. The most powerful form is our interactions with other people, it is this idea that we now take up in chapter 5. Makes me wonder if maybe that would be the place. Like if we went, now at the very end here, I'm going to go back to that thing where I had body, soul, spirit. I am body, I am soul, I am spirit. I am always all of those in relationship to other bodies, other living things, and other spiritual beings, most primarily God, and other humans, particularly those who are regenerate human beings. Now, but this makes me, okay, so mind should go in here, because mind would be the human being, not just living, right? That's soul, and not necessarily praying. That we might, or singing hymns together, we might think of that as spirit, but communicating, thinking. So this soft coupling they're doing here, in order to distinguish it from like Christian to Christian relation, we might say that human beings, I am mind. I like this. I am mind, but not simply mind as like the brain inside my head, but mind as shared communication, dialogue, conversation, learning, teaching with other human beings. I didn't have mind in there, and now I do. I'm liking that model. Someday I'm going to write, I hope, before I die, what's called a systematic theology, and that would be one of the things I want to explore, is like an anthropology that tries to take seriously the categories of body, soul, spirit, and now we got mind in there too. I'm very happy about this. All right, that's enough.